Hi, everyone. My name is Caroline Clasby. I am the Director of International Student Services here at Austin Peay State University. And this is Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah. So I work with Caroline in International Student Services. I've been working with her for a few months here in Tennessee. And so we are the ones who are here to support you when you come to Austin Peay State University.
So we're going to tell you a little bit about our university, why it's a unique place to come and study, and then kind of what Sarah will talk more about what our office does and how we try to help the students. And then we're actually going to introduce you to one of our current students here today too. So you guys can see a lot of facts here on the screen. I'm going to touch upon all of those, and when you have questions, just let us know. So we are located in Clarksville, Tennessee. This is about 45 minutes away from Nashville. Nashville is considered the music city capital of the United States. If any of you like Taylor Swift, this is where she came to, grow up and get famous. And so we do have a lot of really good singers and songwriters here located in this area. Our university, though, is in a smaller town right outside of Nashville. So we always say it's really good because you still get to see that big city life, but you're not paying the city life prices. And we have about over 11,000 students now here at Austin Peay. So we are considered a medium-sized institution. Amongst all of that, we have over 100 undergraduate programs and over 20 graduate programs. We did also just start our first 2 doctorate programs here at Austin Peay. The first one is a doctorate in education, so it's actually an EDD. And then the second one that we are launching in the fall is psychology, a doctorate in psychology, so that's called a PsyD. We are a comprehensive university as well. So what that means is we have majors ranging anywhere from the sciences, liberal arts, business, anything that you can kind of imagine. We do have it. And our classroom sizes are 19-1. So that means every professor is dealing with around 19 students at any given time. So that's pretty significant when you have a university that has over 11,000 students and you're able to have a class size that's small. That's really good. That way you're meeting a lot of people still, but you're still getting that one-on-one experience that you need with your professor. Let's see, our popular programs, these are our popular programs amongst our international students. Computer science or anything in mathematics and statistics is number 1. The majority of our international students are in that area. Then we have engineering technology. That's more of the hands-on version of engineering, so it's not so much theoretical, but more practical. Then we have nursing, biology, business, and education. All of these are pretty innovative. We have a lot of new things that are starting off in each of the programs. So like, for example, with our education, with our MAT, we just started a MAT and TESOL. So if any of you are wanting to teach English abroad, this is the kind of degree that you would want to go to. Let's see. In addition to that, we do have an Esl Institute. So as international students, federally, you are required to show English proficiency. If you do not have that, we have an English Language Institute right here in our university that does allow conditional admission into the university. So what that means is you would take ESL for however many terms that you would need to. And then once you have finished, provided everything else is finished in your application, you could start right off into the degree program of your choosing. Let's see. Another thing so this kind of shows you a little bit of pictures of our campus. It's very green, very beautiful. The weather is what we would consider mild. So that means that we have all 4 seasons, but it never gets really cold and not super hot to where it's unbearable. Definitely not as hot or as cold as some of the other countries that we have traveled to and been to. But we do have a lot going on campus. So there are dormitories. These are for both our undergrad and our graduate students. They come in 1, 2, and 4 bedroom dormitories. We have dining halls. And if you have any dietary needs, we are able to accommodate those as long as we have some notice in advance. So if you have halal, then we can make sure that we provide food for you. Everything is also very walkable on campus. We do have a public transportation on campus as well as off, but it would take about 10 to 15 minutes to walk across campus. So that's pretty good. And like I said, the weather's not so bad, so that's great as well. And we are the safest campus in the state of Tennessee. So I know that is often a concern for a lot of parents, but due to our statistics, we make sure that we have 24/7 police on campus. If you're walking alone at night, we also have police escorts. If you just feel unsafe and you would like somebody to walk you back to your dormitory, they're welcome. They are happy to do so. So we take a lot of this. Safety is our number one priority for our students, obviously, and then the education. Let's see what else we got. We are also a Division I sports team. As you can see, our gym, that's where all of our basketball games happen. But what Division I means is that we are significantly good at most of our sports, and that we play teams that are also very good. And there's a lot of funding and everything else that comes with that. So how do you get to this, and what's the cost and everything? So we say that for undergraduate students, you are paying a total of a little over $26,000. That seems like a lot, but that actually includes your tuition, your housing, your any sort of living expenses, your insurance, food, miscellaneous, anything. For graduate, it is a little bit higher, about $27,000, but both of these are quite affordable since it is all inclusive. For undergraduate, right now we do not have scholarships, but for graduates, we do have graduate assistantships that you can apply for. They are competitive, but if you're able to secure one of those, you can get a full tuition waiver plus a stipend to live off on. So how do you apply? So our application process is pretty simple as well. We just have, it's all online. So you would just go to our website, which I believe is on the next slide. Yep. And you would pay the application fee, but if you let us know that you met us at this webinar and that you were able to kind of listen in and everything, we can see if we can waive that for you. We also will need your passport page, your proof of English proficiency, your financial forms, and then undergrads, we do ask that we see an ACT or SAT score as well as a transcript that is translated into English. As far as graduate students, we ask that your transcript is evaluated by an evaluation company, and then any sort of graduate requirements. So there are a lot of graduate programs that require a GRE, some do not though. So you'll definitely need to take a look into, which one requires what. And that's just a little bit about our university in general. So now I'm going to lead off Sarah to talk more about our office.
Hi, so this picture that you are seeing here is actually our office. This is the International White House. That's where Caroline and I work. And I wanted to tell you about the ISS. So we are really your first, middle, and last contact for everything on campus. So we work with you when you are applying. We work with you in order to help you get your visa. We try to expedite that because we know that the visa process, depending on which country you're from, can take different amounts of time. So we are always your contact for that. So we offer you support for immigration. We offer you support on campus for your academics, and we also give you opportunities for work both on and off campus. We work with you to let you know what's available for you to do while you're here. We also know that sometimes coming to a new country can be quite difficult, and sometimes the cultural struggles might be more than you were expecting. So we also have an open door policy. We always like talking to our students, whether it's just to come by for a chat, or if you're having any kind of personal or academic struggles, you're always welcome to come by and talk to us for those kinds of issues. So there are also on-campus activities that you can join in on. So we work with an organization on campus called the International Student Organization. And so this is a group of both domestic as well as international students, and we have students from all over the world who participate in this group. And they do activities throughout the semester. So they have activities that are both professional and cultural, because many of our students are coming for specific majors and they want to know what they can do with that major afterward. And this is where international students get together and help each other to discuss options for after they graduate. And then there are also cultural activities. For example, just the other day, we had an activity where we were learning at a pizza party about all the different cultures from our students. And that was really interesting. And we had a really good chat about what the differences were and what was the same for each country with different customs. So we have events like that throughout the semester. And then there are also opportunities for host families. So we do work with community members. We want you to have an authentic experience here. And maybe I can show you some pictures there. But we do want you to enjoy your time here. And when you have a host family, even if it's just for a holiday event such as Christmas time or Thanksgiving, which are popular holidays here in the south of the US, when you get to have contact with the community members, you can really learn from them, and you can also share your own culture. So we like to encourage that, and we have contacts there. Other campus activities aside from holiday celebrations might be coffee and donuts, where you can meet other students on campus, and they can meet you because they're really curious about where you are from, and they want to learn about you just as much as you want to learn about campus here. And then we also have other special events throughout the year. So it just depends on what's going on. There's always something happening. And then our office is also in charge of your orientation. So we want to make sure that when you come onto campus, you get familiar with campus as soon as possible. You understand where you need to take your classes. We understand where you need to go if you're looking for housing or if you're looking for events on campus. So we do include that in our orientation. Also, your immigration status is really important, so we do make sure to cover that during the orientation too. Now, there's also the personal side of orientation, and that's getting familiar with Clarksville, where we are, as well as coming from the airport, because like she said, Nashville, we are a city outside of Nashville, and most students are flying into there. So we do, with the ISO, the International Student Organization, they actually have a welcoming committee, and we can give them your contact information, and then they can contact you before you even get here, so you have an idea of what you need to do once you arrive. And then also for housing, so she mentioned that there's on-campus housing and off-campus housing. On-campus housing does come furnished, but we understand that a lot of students don't want to live on campus, or they find a better deal off-campus. And other students in the past have left their furniture for students to use. So we also offer that to you guys to make you feel more comfortable in your adjustment here. And then, of course, Caroline and I, we also do some recruitment abroad. We do travel to different countries because we like to talk to you in person as much as through webinar. So if you would like to come talk to us, you're welcome to. The list of countries where we are going to be visiting is on our website. And again, that's at apsu.edu/international.
Okay. And then in addition to hearing me and Sarah both talk, we are going to introduce you to one of our current students. So Adam is her name. She is actually from Ethiopia. And Adam has been with us for the past 3 years. She actually works in the study abroad office, which is of the upstairs of our location. So we get to see her every day and really work closely with her. So we're going to let Adam talk a little bit about her experience here and why you should come to Austin Peay.
Hi everybody, my name is Adam Kasaye. So today I'm going to be talking about why I chose Austin Peay, my experience here and the process of coming here. So why I chose Austin Peay, it was a combination of 2 reasons. One, it was just very convenient for me because I have family here. My cousin happens to be a professor at Austin Peay. But more importantly, Austin Peay was happened to be the center for creative arts And that mattered to me a lot because I'm an art major, and I don't know if you know this, but not many schools have good art programs. They may have a good, they may just have like an art program, but it's probably not as good. And we get to have classes where it's like a decent size, and we get to have a one-on-one experience with like our professors and our friends. And secondly, Austin Peay, one thing you will not expect is people from Tennessee are like extremely nice. They're really nice people. So, if you decide to come to Austin Peay, be ready to just get all that niceness and kindness. And secondly, I'm going to be talking about my visa process. So, our visa process for me, from Austin Peay's side, it was very quick. They were just like responding to me really quick with whether it's email or call or anything. They were like really quick. They sent my I-20 really quickly. And then for my embassy side, that depends on your country. But for me, I was just prepared. I had all my documents, and it was just, for me, it was easy. I was just like, I provided my document and that was it. And thirdly, I'm going to be talking about my experience here. It's honestly just like the best, as Caroline said earlier. If you want to go to the city, it's only like a 45, 50-minute drive. You can go and experience it, have fun and all that. But when you want to focus on your school, you have your, calm little town here, which just lets you have, the best of like both experiences. So yeah.
Great. So I think that we are happy to take some questions. We know that was a lot of information that we just kind of threw at you guys. We're happy to take questions, and I know Adam is happy to take some questions as well. So I guess we will let our hosts kind of lead from there.
Thank you, Caroline and Sarah. Thank you, Adam. So we have quite a few questions. That's great if you could put the image with the contact details so that people can contact you. And also I would like to remind you that tomorrow you will receive an email with the video of the webinar and all the contacts and all the follow-up that you need there you go, to make contact with Austin Peay University. So we have quite a few questions. The first one, maybe you mentioned something about scholarships. From what I understood, it's in the Masters that there's a possibility for scholarships. Is that right?
Well, yeah, they're just graduate assistantships. So they're essentially internships, right? Where the student receives a complete tuition waiver plus a stipend, and then in exchange they work anywhere, just depending on how much their assistantship is, anywhere from 5 to 20 hours a week on campus, and they would be either doing teaching or researching. Sometimes they do administrative work, but it is a competitive process. Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. And do you offer PhDs as well, or can people enroll into PhDs?
So the only PhD that we have is a PhD in psychology, and then we have an EDD, which is the equivalent in the education department. But those are the only two doctoral degrees we have.
Okay, great. One person was asking about the GRE. They weren't sure about what it actually is. Could you explain it to our participants?
Yeah, sure. So the GRE is a graduate research exam. It's essentially not a placement exam, but it's to see how much knowledge you have in order to enter graduate schools. This is a very common entrance exam for many graduate schools throughout the United States. It takes about 4 hours, the exam itself, and it tests you on both your English and language skills, as well as your mathematics skills. So it is kind of, it's a big test, but we typically ask for average scores. So like an average score of around 300 is what we would typically ask for. And a lot of times professors use it to see that you are ready. If, like, let's say you're going into a very heavy in writing major, they want to be able to see that you have scored well in this major, in this test, so that you can write properly for graduate school.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. We had a few questions about medical programs. Can people study medicine at Austin Peay?
Yeah, so we do have pre-medicine and any of the majors. So what you would do is you would have to be an undergraduate major, and then as you were doing it, most of them are in some sort of science, you know, anything like biology, chemistry, physics. You could even do psychology, and then you would declare yourself as a pre-med major. So that would mean that you are taking all of the major courses that you are required to, and then because you are declaring yourself as a pre-med, you would then take any of those prerequisites that you would need for med school. Once you have finished your 4 years, you would then be taking what they call the Mcat, which is a medical exam, and then you would have to go somewhere else in the United States for med school. That's pretty common though, and medical school, we always try to tell students too that medical school is definitely a very popular route that students like to take, but it is extraordinarily competitive. So they're looking for students who, you know, can handle almost a 4.0 out of a 4.0. So that's a perfect grade point average, and then score very highly on their MCAT as well. It's very competitive for domestic students and even more so for international students. But it definitely is a route that we encourage, and if that's what students would like to do, and we do offer the pre-med.
Thank you. There was a question about pharmacology. Is that available?
We only have pre-pharmacy. Yeah, so they would take probably an undergraduate degree in chemistry typically, and then they would go to pharmacy school for another 3 years afterwards.
Okay, great. And a question about sports. Is there soccer? Is there any sports that people can do?
Absolutely. So we are Division I, so we have almost any sport that you can imagine. We have soccer, football, American football, basketball, baseball, track and field, cross country, volleyball, a little bit of everything. Students are welcome to audition for these particular sports that they would like to. They are Division I. So we always tell students it's a very competitive field to get into. And then if you don't want to necessarily be a student athlete, you could also join our intramural sports, which we have them in all of the categories as well, where you can kind of just play for fun, you know, at different times of the week if you would like.
Great, thank you. So for those who are not using the Q&A section, I would like to remind you that at the bottom of your screen, there's a section for you to ask your questions, which is where we're taking these that we're asking live from. So a few questions about programs, different types of programs. For example, is there an electrical engineering department?
So there is not a specific electrical engineering. What we have is engineering technology. And so what that is that is going to be the more practical side. Now, under that particular major, we do have concentrations, one of which is in electrical engineering. So your degree would actually be an undergraduate BS degree, so Bachelors of Science degree in engineering technology, with the concentration in the engineering, the electrical engineering field. So it's like I said, it's more of the practical based side, more of the management side to it as well. So that means that if you were going to go work in, let's say, a factory of some sort, that they needed engineering specialists, you would be doing more of the management and making sure that everybody is doing exactly what they need to.
Okay, great. There was a question for our student. We didn't do, what does she study? We didn't catch what her course of studies is.
Oh, Adam.
Oh, I'm an art Hi. So I'm an art major with a focus of animation and visual effects.
Wow. We also had some people say hello from Ethiopia.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well,
We have
hello.
people connected. We have Mesele.
Now, hi there. Hi, Marcella.
Yes. Okay, great. Question about, oh yeah, do you have, what about your colleagues in your class? Is there a lot of international students?
So Austin Peay, we have a decent sized international students. We have like over 100, I believe it's like over 130 now. And in my classes, not many people are art majors, so I don't really get to see international students being art majors. But in like general classes, we have international students for sure, just like biology and just the required classes. I'm undergraduate, so we have to take like, you know, our English and math and biology, and in those classes you get to meet international students. But in your major classes, since they're like pretty decent sized classes too, and they're like 19 or 20 students a class, you may encounter an international student, but depends on your major again.
So just to kind of add to that, our university started off with about 45 international students about 3 years ago, and we've more than tripled in our size for that. Part of that is the recruitment that has been pushed forward, and the other one is international students are starting to find out more about our university and really starting to enjoy it. So they're bringing their friends and their family and whoever else, you know, that they can that they want to. Most of our international students are in our STEM program, so Adam is very different in that way, and that she is in more of the liberal arts type of major. But the other thing that we always try to tell students too is it's very good that you don't have a lot of other people like yourself at our university. So meaning that, you know, when you go abroad, one of the first things that you really want to do, and I can attest to this as going abroad myself, and I know Sarah can do the same, and maybe Adam, is that you really start to attract to people who are like you, right? Who speak your language, who look like you, who, because it's a comfort zone. So this, not having as many international students is very beneficial for all of our international students, because they're forced to really get out there and integrate and, you know, see what Americans are like and get to know them and practice their English very well. So it's, you know, it's definitely probably more of a challenge, but it's something that I think all of our students would say that they benefit from greatly.
Yeah, definitely. It takes you out of your, you know, comfort zone, and you get to meet like new people and learn about each people's, you know, cultures and values, and they're very intrigued to like know about, oh wow, you're from, you know, this and this country, and I want to learn more. So that's just a great experience to have, for sure.
Great, thank you so much. A question from Brazil. We have a participant who is asking about the structure of studies in the US, because in Brazil it's 4 years for the bachelor's and 2 years for the master's, and they were wondering what it is like in the US.
It's the same. So for us, it would be about 4 years. Now, granted, you know, if you're able to finish it a bit sooner, we do have students who graduate in 3.5 years, but we also have students who take 5 years to graduate in their undergraduate. But for the most part, it's 4 years, and then masters can be anywhere from 1 to 2 years. All of our master's programs are 2 years right now.
Great, thank you. And a question about English linguistics. Can you major in that?
You can major in English, and then the concentration for both master's and for undergraduate would be in linguistics.
Okay. What about partnerships with other universities? Does Austin Peay work with other universities in the US or abroad?
Yeah, we sure do. A little bit of both. So we have a lot of partnerships domestically where, so we do somewhat of 2+2. So what that means is that we work with a lot of community colleges here in the United States. So community colleges just provide the first 2 years of the education, and then we can provide the last 2 years. So we do have several partnerships with a lot of community colleges throughout the states. We also have partnerships with different programs, university level partnerships as well. So I believe we just made a partnership with University of Memphis where they would do their undergraduate here, and then they would continue with their law degree at the University of Memphis so that they could become a lawyer within a shorter amount of time. So we do that a lot here domestically, and abroad we do have a lot of what we call exchange agreements. So what that means is that we will partner with a particular university abroad, and the students, they'll send a student to us for a semester to a year, and then in exchange, we send an American over to whichever country that is for a semester or a year. We also have started partnership programs there too, in addition to the exchange, which includes 2+2, 2+3. So we are currently working with some partners in Taiwan and with some partners in South Korea right now, where we are having our students start in their undergrad either there or here, and then they would graduate with 2 degrees, essentially, one from our university and one from theirs. So we do work a lot with other universities. We go, as Sarah was mentioning, when we travel a lot, in addition to our going to our fairs and, you know, going to high schools, we also go and visit our partner universities. We try to do that at least once a year, if not once every 2 years, just to make sure that we are keeping our partnerships alive and well.
Thank you. We had a question about the amount of time that is required during the programs. Is it full-time or part-time? Is it necessarily full-time? And can people intern at the same time as they study at Austin Peay?
So as international students, you're required to follow the visa laws. So an F1 visa has very strict laws on how often and how much you have to attend university. So at any given time on an F1 visa, you do have to be a full-time student. So that means, you know, for undergrad, a full-time student is 12 hours. For graduate here, it's 6 hours. And then for ESL, it's anywhere between 18 to 20 hours a week. And so that is required. Now, as international students, you are allowed to work, but there are some restrictions. So you can work up to 20 hours a week on campus only. You can start what we call CPT. It's Curricular Practical Training. CPT is essentially an internship that you can do while you are here at the university. And you can start after you have been enrolled for 1 year. So that would say a fall and spring semester. And then the coming summer or the coming fall semester, you can start your CPT. And basically what you would do is you would take an internship course here at Austin Peay, and then you would be working up to 20 hours a week somewhere off campus if you would like, or it can be on campus as well. But it would obviously have to be in the area, you know, anywhere around Clarksville or Nashville in order to do your CPT. In addition to that, we always like to tell students too that you have opportunities to work for after you graduate on what we call optional practical training, and that's OPT. This allows you to work 1 year anywhere in the United States after you have graduated. If you are a STEM major, you have up to 3 years to work anywhere in the States. And I would say the majority of our students, if they are not then going to a PhD level or, you know, some or other education, the majority of them do take the OPT opportunity and, you know, try to get that internship experience. If they haven't had the chance to do it while they were in school, or if it was an addition to while they were in school.
Thank you, Caroline. Maybe this question could be suited to Sarah because it's about applications. Could you take us through the steps needed to apply for a master's, and do the applicants need to send a CV as well? What are the documents required?
Yeah, so actually if you go to our website, so again, that's apsu.edu/international, that's the site that's dedicated to the international students themselves. So it's for those who would like to apply, so you can start there, and then you can decide which program you're going for. So you can look for undergraduate, or you can, in this case, you can look for the graduate programs. And each program is going to require a little bit differently. For example, Caroline said that some of them do require the GRE, but all of them are going to require the passport page. They're going to require proof of English proficiency. Now, there are countries that speak English as national languages, and so once we have the copy of your passport, that's going to be waived. And then there will be the proof of financials. So we have a financial affidavit form that you need to fill out, and then we'll also need bank statements to prove that you have the funds and the sponsorship to come here to this university. And then for graduates, sometimes they require the GRE and sometimes they don't. Now, they don't usually require a CV, but some programs do require a writing sample.
Thank you, Sarah. When do classes begin? When do the semesters start?
Yeah, so the semesters, we have the main semesters, our spring semester, which starts in mid-January, so that's after the holiday break, and then that's going to go all the way until the beginning of May. Graduation is usually around May 7th. There is a summer semester, and then the fall semester, the other main semester, is going to be from late August all the way until early December.
Great. A question for people who have done A levels and AS levels, you know, in the British system. Do AS levels suffice, or do they need A levels to apply?
AS levels do suffice, yes. Now, none of the, even the A levels, none of that would be transferred over as credit as of now, unless they have their high school degree evaluated, but we would accept it, the AS, yeah.
Okay, great. And if a person hasn't gone to college in Brazil, if they were for 2 years in a city college for business, can they still apply?
Can they kind of clarify what they're meaning?
So I guess what they're saying is they didn't go to university, but they did a preparatory course for 2 years studying business. Would that be enough to apply?
So it would be enough to apply for an undergraduate degree. They would, basically, if they want any of those business courses transferred over, they're going to need to get that those 2 years evaluated by an evaluation company, and then our registrar would take a look at the courses and see which ones could be transferred over to an undergraduate degree. If they don't want to do that, then they could just start from scratch, which means that they would just start from year 1 rather than, you know, have 2 or 3 courses already completed.
Great. Is there anything in African studies? Is there a faculty of African studies?
I believe that we have a minor in African American studies, but I do not believe we have anything specifically in African studies, no. That would be really good to have, though, for sure.
Great. And probably our last question, I would say, if nobody writes in the meantime. So a person who took the pre-med major program, and then how many years would it be to enter med school after that, approximately?
So it's a very long process. So you have your 4 years of pre-med, and then you have it's 4 years of med school and then 2 years of residency. So you're looking at a total of 10 years of, you know, studying in order then to become a full-time practicing doctor.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's us. I would like to thank all our participants and thank Sarah and Caroline and their student. Thank you all for joining us. I would like to remind you as well that tomorrow you're going to get a follow-up email with the video link and all the contact details you need to get in touch with Austin Peay University. And would you like to say something else, Caroline, Sarah?
Well, I mean, I think both of us. So we just want to thank you for attending this seminar, webinar, I guess. And, you know, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We are happy to help. And I always try to make it a personal policy to get back within 24 hours to a student. And you know, we're just here to guide you, and hopefully you can come to Austin Peay.
Thank you guys so much. And we've given you our contact information here. So just like Caroline, we do want to get back to you as soon as possible because we know you're talking the time difference. It can make it difficult. So we do get back to you as soon as possible, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much. So once again, thank you for joining us in this webinar, which was a partnership between Doc City and Austin Peay University. And we hope to welcome you again soon in our next webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.